You ever find yourself thanking Alexa or, getting genuinely mad at your laptop when it freezes? Well, in this age of AI and algorithms, figuring out our relationship with tech is really about figuring out ourselves. So let's get into it, using Megan O'Gieblin's fantastic book, God, Human, Animal, Machine, as our map. All right, first up, let's talk about that weird, almost irresistible urge we have to see life in our gadgets. It's a habit as old as we are, but man, it's popping up in some very, very new ways. I mean, just look at Sony's Aibo robot dog. O'Gieblin talks about getting one, and almost immediately she's petting it, talking to it. She even felt guilty about turning it off. We know it's a machine, but some deep part of our brain just insists on seeing more. So what's going on here? Why do we do this? O'Gieblin digs into this really powerful theory that this isn't some new age quirk. Nope, this is a deep, evolutionary survival instinct. Think about it like this. If our ancestors were out in the wild, they had to make split-second calls. Mistaking a rock for a bear? No big deal. You just look a little jumpy. But mistaking a bear for a rock? Yeah, that's a one-way ticket to getting eaten. So our brains evolved to bet high, to see life and intention everywhere, just to be safe. And the result is this constant enchantment. It's the same impulse that makes us see faces in the clouds or feel a weird connection to a robot dog. We just can't help but project life onto everything around us. Okay, but here's where the story takes a bit of a dark turn. Because after we spend all this time seeing the human in the machine, we start to see the machine in ourselves. You know how it goes. First, we say the brain is like a computer. It's a handy metaphor, right? But the more we use it, the more that metaphor flips. Pretty soon, we stop saying like a computer and start thinking the brain actually is just hardware, and our consciousness is just software. And this is a really stark admission from O'Gieblin herself. She talks about how after moving away from her religious upbringing, all these metaphors from tech just flooded in to fill that space, completely changing how she saw her own soul. And this isn't just a personal, philosophical thing. This way of thinking has created a huge societal problem where massive, life-changing decisions are being outsourced to algorithms we don't even fully understand. It's called algorithmic determinism. Basically, if you train an algorithm on data that's full of our past biases, and let's be honest, it's just going to project those biases into the future. It creates this digital cage, trapping people, especially from marginalized communities, inside a story that was written for them, not by them. And here's the really scary part. A lot of modern AI, these deep neural networks, even the people who build them can't tell you exactly why they made a certain decision. The logic is hidden away inside a black box. The compass system is a pretty chilling real-world example of this. It was used in courtrooms to predict if a defendant would reoffend, but an investigation found it was way more likely to flag black defendants as high risk, even when it was wrong. And because the code was a trade secret, you couldn't even argue against the logic that was literally deciding your future. This quote from Darnell Gates just cuts right to the bone, doesn't it? It's that feeling of complete powerlessness. You're not fighting a person. You're fighting a system that's already decided who you are. But there is a ghost in our machine. There is one thing that all this computation, all this data, just cannot seem to grasp. And it's the most human thing about us, our rich, messy, internal world. Philosophers call it the hard problem of consciousness. The easy problems are figuring out what the brain does. But the hard problem is, why does it feel like anything at all to be alive? Why do we actually experience the color red or the feeling of sadness? See, an AI can process all the data about the wavelength of red light, but it doesn't see red. A computer can recognize a sad face, but it doesn't feel sadness. That subjective first-person experience, that's the gap technology just can't seem to cross. So in a world that wants to turn us all into neat, predictable data points, our inner life is the unpredictable glitch. It's the part that escapes the spreadsheet. And it's not a bug we need to fix. It's our most essential feature. And this brings us to the most important point of all. We have to stop trying to fix the glitch. We have to learn to embrace it. You know, you have this whole transhumanist dream of uploading our minds to a computer, escaping our messy biological hardware. But O'Gieblin argues that this misses the entire point. A perfect digital copy of your brain might just be a philosophical zombie. All the functions, but none of the feeling. It might leave your actual soul behind. Because our real humanity, our soul, it isn't found in perfect code. It's found in the broken bits, the irrational moments, the feelings that don't make sense. It's in everything a machine would flag as an error, as a glitch. And this leads us to this really beautiful idea, narrative sovereignty. It's the freedom to write your own story. It's the power to refuse to be defined by a data profile or predictive model. It's the freedom you find when you embrace your own beautiful, unpredictable, totally human glitch. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. The algorithm is designed to see a pattern, so what's the glitch that makes your story truly, uniquely yours?